Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm AMNON, your host for the next few hours, along with Nick.
Hey, what's going on?
And Steve.
Good morning, everybody.
And I did not capture our... Well, why will it not? Okay,
Dinner?
we'll do it later.
What are you trying to say? Okay.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is being brought to you by Adamus.com. Makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. And the broadcast is also made possible by Telestream's Wirecast software. And I don't understand why the double click is not making the box smaller.
Are you having difficulties again, Amnon?
That's weird.
It's going to be one of those shows, is it?
No, it's fine. It's live, you know.
It's live.
It's live. I wonder if it's Firefox is misbehaving.
Behave yourself, Firefox. No need for it.
Hey, Nick, if I close the Hangout and open Firefox again, will it be the same Hangout?
No.
You have to copy the link.
Yeah, I know, but will it be the same? Can I use the same one?
Yeah. You copy the link before you close.
Oh, wait. It just worked. Okay. I don't know what, but it just worked. All right. Oh, but I don't, I've got Steve here. So let's click Nick and
Don't click me, click it so it does
16
the-
by 9. Say it again.
So click it so it does the thing where it goes to whoever talks.
It's fine now.
Okay.
All right. Technology. It's okay.
Great when it works, and a problem sometimes when it doesn't.
Yeah, but when you can fix it, it's fine. Nothing
You're
wrong with
the
that.
man that can.
Yep. Well, with the help. So, I was, I read something about Nokia. They are going to acquire the French telecommunication equipment company Alcatel-Lucent, which is, I think, headquarters here in Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big company.
What?
It's a big company.
Which one, Nokia or Alcatel?
Both.
Yeah, and they're $16 billion. And they're doing it in an attempt to become a major provider of telecom equipment. So
It's certainly not chump change, is it?
No, it's no change any way you look at it. But the thing is, it seems like there's growth. I mean, if a company is going to pay, and it's Nokia, which I guess had a lot of bad experiences in the last few years, is going to do this, that's it's a good sign. I'm sure the people at Alcatel are happy because you didn't hear much about Alcatel-Lucent in the last few years.
It's not like Nokia was particularly strapped for cash, is it?
Mm-mm. And Kaspersky, and we always talk about ransomware. Well, Kaspersky's has a program that I don't know why they say may unlock if you get locked out of your files. They have a new tool that may be able to unlock it without having to fork over any money. The forking over any money, I've never heard about anybody, or I never read any story about anybody that got locked out, paid, and got it back. The stories that I was reading and the reports that I was reading is if you get locked out, you don't pay anything because they are not going to help you get it back. So you deal with it other ways. But it's interesting that apparently there is a way to unlock it, and Kaspersky's working at it, and they may have something that will do it. I never had the opportunity to work with a system that got infected and actually got the user got locked out of it. I got a few systems that almost got to that point. I mean, they got infected with BitLocker, and there's another one. But the files were still there, accessible, and we were able to clean it.
Hello.
Morning.
Are we on
Hey,
the air?
Andrew.
Are we on the air?
Yes, we are.
What's
Why?
going on?
Good morning.
I don't know. Everything was so quiet in here.
Well, I don't know.
We're thinking.
What are we thinking about? Hey, Steve.
Hey, Andrew.
So it's an interesting situation when you get if you get locked out of your files. That's why again and again and again we say have backups.
And backups of those backups.
Absolutely.
I just found, talking about backups, Anon, I
Yes.
just found a bunch of CDs from 1999
Uh-huh.
of my backups on one of my computers, and I had no idea that I had backed this up. Apparently, I found them a couple years ago, and I dragged and dropped everything, everything I had, and I found all my backups that I've had over the last, almost 20 years now, 18 years, and I found all my favorite bookmarks, and none of these websites exist anymore.
Well, that's okay with the bookmarks, but isn't it nice to know that? Oh boy, look at that! Yes, I do have backups.
It's amazing because it was a time where now we have so much, right? Like Nick, you're a little babby, you're a little tiny man. I don't have any photos when I was like 16, 17, 14, 13. Like that doesn't exist. There was no digital photos to take. I don't have like an archive of my pictures, but you have it with your girlfriend. I mean, every time you take a picture and you and your girlfriend are out going out to Moe's, getting tacos, you guys have this archived forever. I mean, it's unbelievable. We don't have too much of that. So when we find stuff from 17 years ago that was like shot on a webcam, or like there's like a photo that was scanned in, it's actually amazing to find.
Nick, do you back up the stuff right away when you have it on the camera? Does it put it somewhere else, or you do that manually later on?
Talking about on my phone?
Yeah, I mean your phone.
Back that stuff up.
Yeah, but Nick, your stuff automatically backs up to iCloud.
Oh, it doesn't.
Oh, you don't set it to iCloud?
No, not at all.
Where do you back it up?
I don't back it up at all. To be
You don't
honest.
back it up to get it back.
No, I don't. I have nothing on there that I need to back up.
Nick,
Your
something wrong with
audio's
your
way
audio.
low.
How about that?
No, something's
No,
off.
it's there. It was a scratchy in the beginning, and it's not good. Do it again.
How about now?
Yeah.
much better.
That's more like it.
Yeah, I mean, all my stuff automatically backs up every time I take a picture. It goes to my Dropbox or, wherever else I'm backing up. So it's easier now to retrieve this stuff. But, before that, 15 years ago, 16 years ago, you didn't have camera phones. So you took whatever photo you took, you scanned it in.
Yeah.
And who knows if people have it? I mean, hard drives are far less reliable than they are now. Computers are far less reliable. We never thought about putting it on. There was no Facebook, there was no MySpace, there was no Twitter. So it's actually really backing up now is not as crucial when it comes to that stuff as it used to be because it automatically is somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, you can't say that it's not crucial because it's still up to the user to make it go somewhere else.
I mean, it's far easier. It's much
easier
to back something up. There's no excuse for you to have to back it up.
Absolutely agree with that statement. Absolutely.
Or at the minimum, have it copied somewhere else.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do crazy like double backups. Backup of a backup, and then on a CD or on a drive somewhere. Now, my photos are all in the cloud. My MP3s are all in the cloud. I don't download movies. Everything is a rental on iTunes or I'm streaming it on Netflix. So it's not as it's not as a tedious task as it used to be to back things up.
Yeah, and talking about on the cloud and all that, and I was reading a report that Netflix actually subscribership grew in the last quarter, and that probably says a lot about people cutting the cord and going with services like Netflix and Hulu and
I think the cable industry is in serious trouble. Nick, would you when you move out, would you buy cable?
Not at all. No.
Not at all. Like it's not even
actually no. Let me take that back. They're possibly for sport. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
but
would be my only reason to purchase.
Well, but I'm sure that the sports channels are going to join everybody else and have a streaming.
I don't know.
Because the cable companies know that that's how they lock you in.
Well, this is interesting though, Andrew. The NFL is starting to get into the more streaming of games. They're doing a game this year that is, I believe it's only on the web.
Okay, so that's they're testing it out, I guess.
Yeah, there's I don't remember what game it is exactly, but I'm pretty sure they're streaming a game this year it's not being on cable. I mean, they have to move with the times. People don't have cable. But you get Fox and CBS over on over the antenna, but like baseball, you wouldn't get any of that stuff.
Unless it's on the PIX.
Yeah, but that's if you live in the city.
Yeah,
there's no baseball's not on local channels.
The cable cut, that's how the cable companies have locked you in, but they're in serious trouble because there's an entire generation where they have zero interest to getting cable. And it's going to be interesting to see how that converts over. These 9-10-year-olds now, they're not watching TV, they're watching YouTube. They're not even watching Netflix. I've always said that. AMNON, I'm watching, I mean, regardless of being on right now, I'd be watching Computers 2K now from 9 to 11. That 9 to 11 time slot that I'm watching you is taking away from a TV show.
What would you be watching?
I don't know. A rerun of Roseanne.
or church services.
Al Sharpton on MSNBC.
Oh, then you need to stop. You need to get off this show so you can go watch that then.
I mean, it's taken away from it. It's a changing time with it.
Yeah, but here, I mean, you're talking about sports, and I want to take it a little bit farther. Everybody, and like Nick, goes to family to visit, and he wants to be able to watch his game, and he can do it. You can do it on your phone or on your tablet, right, Nick?
With a DirecTV subscription, yeah.
Yeah. What do you do? I mean, I see all these advertisements by Time Warner Cable that you can also get it on your phone. But
that's not football.
A what?
That's not football.
Well, I mean, if you get service with them.
Yeah, but you have to. Have you ever used that before? It's not
No,
local channels. It's
I have
just
no
network.
idea. That's what I want to
It's not
ask.
a full channel. It's a limited selection of
No,
channels.
it's none of your local affiliates, so you won't get any sports, and it's nothing but like Food Network channels like that.
And why?
ESPN's on there.
Okay, why won't the sports channels
Because they
join
don't
that?
cover it. It's not their contract.
Because they don't want to. That's the point. They don't
'Cause here's-
want to allow that to go everywhere because they're going to lose a lot of money in ad revenue because they cannot put when a sports game, let's say, is on your local affiliate like CBS.
Yeah.
Those ads are targeted for that local affiliate. There's some national and there's some local. The affiliate is selling those ads, as far as I know.
Yeah, no, they are. That's the
Yeah,
affiliate's job.
but so this is what I'm trying here to figure out. When you getting, let's say you talking about the Food Channel is on it, okay?
Yeah.
That broadcast, the actual broadcast, is not coming through the satellite directly to your phone. It's coming from your local provider, from Time Warner.
From Time Warner, yeah.
So that still is local. And they can put
But
local.
there's yes and no.
No. Remember, Amnon, Time Warner Cable and Time Warner ISP is separate.
And I'm talking about Time Warner Cable.
Okay, so Time Warner Cable is the app. It's an app that you download.
Right.
It's their app. The service also needs to be Time Warner's, but the commercials are not over the. They don't play the commercials. I think they black out on the commercials.
It depends.
Oh, actually, no, they don't. No, they don't. They only do that if it's like an online feed.
Yeah. So I think AMNON might be right with
Yeah,
that.
Amnon may be right.
I mean, if we're talking about quote unquote cord cutters, then you cut the cord. It's not like you just make the cord smaller. Say,
Well, that's what it is. Amnon, you brought up an interesting point. That's exactly what cord cutting has become now. For a lot of people, it's making the cord smaller. Like I'm one of these people. I have all these services. I have Hulu, I have cable, I have Netflix, I have HBO, I have all these things.
Mhm.
But I'm slowly phasing out cable boxes in my house. I'm slowly getting rid of DVRs.
Okay, but Andrew, stop there. What do you do to watch your wrestling?
Well, I watch wrestling on two things. One, I watch it on USA.
Oh, now wait, hold it. USA is a cable network.
Yeah. And then
So-
why do you think I have cable still? I have cable because I still want to watch wrestling on USA.
Okay.
There is a network. So the WWE has a network. And they air all their pay-per-views now for free. They got rid of their pay-per-view model. And they give it away for free on their network, which is an app. It's on Roku, Apple TV. It's on the net. You can watch it everywhere you want.
But it's paid.
It's paid. It's $9.99 a month.
That's
you get
fine.
all the pay-per-views, and you get all the archives of everything that they've done in the past, all past pay-per-views, other companies that they've bought. So it's a library of content, and they're constantly adding stuff to it. But they do not have their live programming, and they have, I believe, a 3-month delay with the content that's on USA.
Wow.
So after 3 months, they put it on. If I want to watch it, I could watch it on Hulu if I wanted to watch wrestling the next day. But it's abridged and it's 90 minutes instead of 3 hours.
Okay, so you cannot do away with your set-top boxes anymore.
No, I need it.
You can limit it.
I can limit it. I can't fully get rid of it.
Right. So you see, I mean, I'm thinking that anybody who is on cable today with the Time Warner or be it DirecTV or whoever are sooner or later are going to have their own channel that they can stream through. And it'll be pay. I mean, you know, pay.
Here's what Verizon announced this week. Nick, I don't know if you saw this, but Fios announced a la carte pricing.
I did not see that, no.
They announced that you could buy certain packages where it's, you know, the top 10 channels. And it's like $30 a month or $29 a month.
But
And you get
that's
rid of everything else.
but that's still through the set-top box.
Yeah, but think about this. I'm paying for my cable. I'm paying like $120,
Right.
$130.
Yeah. And you're
I
not
could eliminate everything and just get this basic one, which is like $19.99. It's all the locals and it's, you know, the top 10, popular cable channels. I still have all my local news. I still have my wrestling. I still have ESPN. I have all that, the top channels. And then everything else I just watch on Hulu and Netflix.
but Netflix, you don't need to have a set-top box, obviously.
No, I mean, you could do it with Apple TV. Or
But Andrew, you know, that sounds like a basic cable plan because Time Warner offers a basic cable plan and it's 25 channels. I mean,
I believe you could pick and choose your channels with this.
Oh, okay. You get to pick.
Yeah. You get to pick the channels you want to watch. The other thing that they're going to start doing is having, instead of renting these set-top boxes, you're going to just be able to get these channels over your Apple TV or Roku. You sign up to Time Warner Cable and you get a cheaper plan that's IP-based.
Yeah.
That's going to save them a lot of money.
Yeah, well, they're not gonna know installers.
And they can still make money.
And they can still make money. They're going to have to compete. I mean, the reality is kids are not going to be getting cable. When I was a kid, cable was a big deal. When my brothers were kids, cable was not a big deal because they had other means of entertainment.
Well, I mean, it's interesting to listen to some of the shows out there and reports about cord cutting, and you were on a couple of them, Andrew.
Yeah, I go on it all the time because I mean I'm not a true cord cutter, but I understand where they're headed. I mean,
I don't think there is anybody who is a quote unquote true cord cutter because it's still not. You cannot replace cable TV 100% with IP because not everything is available.
Amnon, the other issue that I have with this is, and Nick and I have spoken about this a lot of times, you cannot receive, for people that say, well, the quality is better, right? That's the argument. Quality is better on Netflix. Yes, that may be true for film because, you know, it's shot at 24 frames a second and the bit rate is higher and it's very different when it's not a lot of movement happening. Mm-hmm. But when you're watching sports,
goodbye.
It's nauseating for me to watch sports. I'm going to bring up pro wrestling. The WrestleMania was last month. It's a big deal. I still paid $68 to order the pay-per-view on my cable box, even though I get it for free on the network, because the network, the quality on there is 720p at 30 frames a second at 2 megabits a second.
You can't deal with macro blocking if that's the problem.
The macro block, you know what? Forget about the macro blocking. It's the it's like a ghosting effect. It's not fluid. The movements aren't fluid. It's a frame rate issue, but it's not really. It's more of a bit rate issue. The bit rate is too low to keep up to do, you know, high performance activity like that. Cable, when you're watching a pay-per-view, it's probably 15 to 20 megabits a second. The stream on the cable system. Television is generally anywhere from on the low end 8 if the QAM is being shared. If it's not being split 4 times, you're talking about 12 to 15 megabits on cable. So you can't compare the same when it comes to quality unless you're doing 15 megabits a second for sports. This is something that's being overlooked, is the bit rate.
Yeah.
And do you think, Andrew, that as time goes on, if the quality on the network, on IP, let's say that it doesn't change, that it stays the way that it is right now, do you think that there will be this generation is just going to get used to it and it's going to be the norm and it's not going to bother anybody anymore because they have nothing else to compare it to?
Yeah, the reality is your eyes eventually get used to it, and most people don't see it now. People think I'm crazy when I bring it up now. If you're not looking for it, if you're not paying attention, I mean, think about how many people don't understand the difference between widescreen and HD. They think they're watching HD and they're not. They don't know. People don't see things. And you're giving up quality. I mean, it's the same. You're giving up quality for ease of use and availability. And that's what it comes down to. People are just going to deal with it, and it's slowly going to get better. I mean, when encoding methods get better when it comes to this stuff, that's when it really improves. But they have a problem here because the hardcore fans are going to see it, and they're the most vocal.
Yeah, and again, it all has to do with bandwidth. I think the equipment is there to do it at higher bit rate and higher frame rate and all that, but it's the bandwidth that is killing them as far as delivering it to the end user.
And here's another thing we need to consider. And Nick and I have spoken about this too. How many people out there are actually wiring these set-top boxes to do streaming content? Not a lot. It's all Wi-Fi. So you have to, even if they wanted to do 5-10 megabits a second, they were going to have a tremendous difficulty providing a decent stream to people because their equipment is not good at home. What kind of router are you using? How far away is it from the set-top box?
Yeah.
These are all things that people don't want to hear when they just want to watch their content.
Yeah, and I would go back to what you guys were talking about. In sports, it matters, but for the news, for shows, talk shows especially, things like that, you don't need the high frame rate and higher bit. It's I mean, obviously people are watching us here, and we're not doing it at HD. We're wide, but we're not HD. And if you are trying to save, and here you coming and you're watching because you want to, and you don't have to pay for it, but if you were trying to do away with your set-top box and with your cable TV and save $100 a month, you even make more sacrifices than what you're doing here. And maybe you're saying, well, I mean, Computers 2K now is not that great quality of the picture, but we'll watch it because we want to see the content.
Also, most people are watching it on a smaller display. They're not watching it on a 70-inch display.
That's true. That's true. That is true. And talking about the small display, I don't understand what for, but they were saying that Samsung showed 5G last week with downloads of 10 megabits. I mean, gigabits, sorry. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I mean, 4G is capable of a lot. I mean, with 4G on my phone, I get about 40 megabits here, 40 meg up and down in New York.
Yeah.
On average, I mean, in a good area, I get about 40 something. On average, I get about 28 up and down, symmetrical almost. I mean, it's actually it's better than most people's internet. It's better than Time Warner here locally.
So to go with 10 gigabits, oof, on your phone, I guess the phone will get hot in your hand. You have to drop it.
There you go.
But I mean, let's think about that. I mean, right now, and I don't want to sound like an old fuddy-duddy here, but I mean, you brought up
you started it with that. You're going to.
Yeah,
I mean,
like AMNON brought up last week. He was saying something like, "Who needs this much RAM or something? Who needs that much speed?" But you do have a point. I mean, you could have 100 gigabits. If the website server is garbage and it's not going to load.
Right.
You're still it's still going to take you 2 seconds or a second to load the website.
The service provider is always going to be playing catch up.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I got 640 by 120, 112. No, what was it? 620? Yeah, 620 by 112
The stamp.
with DSL. With DSL.
Yeah.
And I was so happy. I thought it was so fast.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That people are just going to get used to whatever it is and say, "Wow, this is great," and it's going to settle on it. Of course, the kids that are going to be born, the next generation is going to look at what we're doing here and said, "What is this?" Because we don't even know what.
1275.
What, Steve?
So can you remember 1275? That was awesome.
Yeah. But it makes, this is what I feel like, this is what keeps us on our toes, keeps us hopping. We always try to do more, to learn about something new. If things settle, it's going to be boring. But I mean, you're reading how they're coming up with 12K or 8K for mobile devices and 10 gigabits and all. And you said, what in the world is going on here?
You know what it is? Quicker and efficient. The faster you get somewhere, the less clog there is. I guess down the pipes. That's how they see it.
True. That's all. No. This is true. But the problem is, and that's again, this is the same thing now that's happening right now with the gigabit. I mean, great, you would have gigabit, but do you know how many gateways out there are actually do have gigabit to serve or to route those websites? Hardly none.
Yeah, that's gonna be the problem.
This is when, like we were saying, when in the early days, for an ISP to have a T1, which is only 1.54 megabits, out of it about 1.3, 1.4 is usable. This was high speed because everybody else had dial-up at 33, at 56, at 2400. I mean, it was different. I mean, the speed that the ISP had versus the speed that the user had was a big difference. Today, here's users with 1 gigabit, but ISPs out there and routing hubs are still at DS3 and T3 and T40, whatever. Way below the gigabit.
Yeah, the infrastructure needs to change.
Exactly, and that's going.
It won't. Who's going to front that bill?
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. It's going to take time. It's going to take a long time before that happens. And this is why Europe is ahead of us. Because Europe can and to provide in Europe it's mostly wireless. That's a whole lot easier to tweak and to raise the speed. And they're using newer equipment that can be upgraded easily. The equipment that people are using here is still equipment that is older. You're going to have to change cable wires. I mean, all of us are waiting for higher speed, not because the company cannot do it right now, not because they want to see how it goes or whatever. It's because they don't have the right wiring, cabling in the community to provide that high speed. So that's why not everybody has it. Who's got it? New development. If there is a new subdivision somewhere and they were just last year were running cables, utilities there, Time Warner, when they figure we're going to run a cable over there, they're not putting in the low end stuff. They're going to put something that can provide a really high speed for later on. As they said, we don't want to waste money later on in the future, and let's put it there right now. It's the same thing that was with dial-up. I remember the days when we were providing dial-ups. There were subdivisions, old neighborhoods that had just so many phone numbers and older switches that each line could do 56K. When they built a new development, they would put in switches that could take one line, and when it reaches the houses, it can actually serve 3 people. And on these, there were people that said, I know you're telling us that you're providing us with 56K, but we cannot go over 33. And it turned out that it was because of the new equipment. They were taking away bandwidth and I don't know what else from the line, that it could not do it for customer A. And that is why even the phone company back then would say, we do not guarantee that your line is going to be 56K. We are not certifying our lines for data. It's for voice. So even though they were also ISPs and they were providing dial-up, they would tell their customers in the fine print that you may not be able to get that speed. It's the same thing that's happening right now with like DSL. DSL can only provide so many channels of the highest DSL speed in one cable, even though there may be.
It also depends on your the length of your connection.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean. It depends on that, but it also depends on the cable. So if you have a cable that has 1,000 pairs in it, they cannot. And let's say that all the 1,000 pairs were 100 feet from the central office. They still cannot provide you with DSL service, higher speed, to all 1,000 customers who are on the 1,000 pairs. They may be able to provide with 200 or 100 because of the way with the copper, how it bleeds over.
So what do you do? First come, first serve?
It's first come, first serve. Absolutely. And this is why sometimes you would say, well, can I have DSL? No, sorry, we're out of capacity. What are you talking about? You have so many lines coming to the box outside. Well, yeah, but we can only put so many DSL feeds on that one cable. With fiber, that doesn't exist. But we're going back to the fact that this country is built with copper all over. And they are not, they don't jump right out and say, yeah, we're going to upgrade to go with fiber. In the last few years, they have to, because everybody wants even higher than what that DSL can do for you. And if you don't go with one company, you will jump to the other company that does it. And when you see that Time Warner is running cables, fiber somewhere, not too far behind them will be AT&T and anybody else in that community that provides, because they realize, okay, now if we don't do it right now, everybody's going to go with Time Warner or whoever is the first one to be there. So it's slowly it's going away, but it's going to take time, and it's going. The main thing also we're going back to it is the actual hubs, routing points that take these feeds and send them all off. That's going to be the bottleneck. If you have just imagine if you have 100 people wanting to watch a match, and each one of them is doing it at 200 megabits. Think how many megabits should be at the hub where everybody in the neighborhood is going to. 200 times 100. They don't have that today. They just don't have it.
Yeah.
Can they do it? Can they upgrade? Of course, but it takes money, and they are operating on profit. So they want to see, okay, if we did upgrade, can we make the money right away? I mean, in the long run, they will make the money, but right away, they want to come up winning. And that is only the companies that are willing to take the chances are doing it these days. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. So your FiOS, Andrew, did you see a change in the speed of it, in the quality of it in the last few years?
Not speed, but I have noticed a difference in quality. It's gotten better now, but about last summer there were a lot of issues. Minor disconnects. I think they were having some problems at the central office with the switches, but that seems to have been fixed.
Is in your area, do more and more people signing up for FiOS or dropping FiOS?
I don't know. I don't know. Initially, some people signed up, but I know a lot of people still have Time Warner.
Okay. Steve, you have copper coming to your house, right?
To the house. That's most people do, yes.
Yeah. And do you see, I mean, what development, what improvement, advances did you see in the last few years as far as your service?
Well, to be honest, in the last few years, virtually nothing. I did sign up with another company a few years back that offered up to 21 megabits into the house on using the same copper cable, but
Right.
they had their own devices and things in the exchange.
Mm-hmm.
So it was called bundling of some sort. I don't know what it was. He did an agreement with British Telecom, but I then switched from them because Sky bought them out, and I don't like Sky personally. So I switched to British Telecom directly, and they don't have that equipment in their exchange and don't have access to it. So the maximum there now is 8 gigabytes, and that's been the same for the last, I don't know how many years. All around me, they've got fiber boxes and fiber going to the cabinets that are around. I've got a cabinet at the end of my street, but the whole estate where I live is fiber, apart from my small section of road where there's about 50 houses. This small section, for some reason, the box at the end, they haven't converted to fiber yet, which is infuriating because you can see that I can see the box from where I live. I look out the bay window and I can see the box, but they haven't made it fiber yet. It's really frustrating.
Interesting. So you went, what was your speed before you went with the company that offered you the 21?
That was, I think that was 3 at the time.
So you went from 3 to 21.
Well, it was about 17, 18, yeah.
And then back down to 8?
Yeah, but I went from 21 back down to 8, and I wasn't really downloading and doing stuff that I needed to have a large download speed, the situation. So it didn't bother me too much, but the big contention for me has always been the problem of upload speed. If I want to do backups, if I want to send files around or whatever, then it's ridiculous. I don't even have one megabit. It's mad. If I wanted to back up my system online in one of these sort of cloud Dropbox or something like that, it would take me forever and a day to upload it.
Well,
That's the biggest problem for the majority of people is the upload speed. I know a lot of people they don't do uploads, but if they're doing backups, and they do want to, send it over the internet to get it into in the cloud, then they can't do it if they've only got a megabit. Well, they can, but it just takes half a day.
Well, you see, here's you talking about it takes half a day. When I started using online backup, I don't remember how many years ago it was. My drive was only about 40 gig. And out of it, maybe I used 12, 13 gig. It took over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And nobody complained because it was doing it in the background. And they told you it's going to do it. And I have not changed the company I have not changed in a long time. Then I had a problem with the backup. And had to reestablish the account and all that. And they were saying, well, yeah, but now you're going to have to start from scratch. I said, oh, no, not another 3 weeks. But it took less than a day for about 20-some gigabyte, or more than that, 30-some gigabyte to go through.
Yeah.
So
what's your upload speed now?
5.
I mean, that's acceptable. That's fine. It depending on how many gigabytes that you're needing to transfer through, but 5's acceptable.
The thing is that it's not just our upload speed; it's also the backup company were throttling it.
Yeah.
Because if they have 1,000 people backing up, they want to be able to allow everybody to back up, and not 2 people coming in at 100 megabits and choking everybody else that nobody else can back up. So they're still doing something to allow everybody who is connecting to back up an entry.
Yeah, it's all about contention, isn't it? You have to balance the number of users you've got with the amount of speed that you have. So
exactly,
everyone's going to suffer the more people that come online. This is why I used to stay up until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, so that the download speeds would go quicker, and I get a chance to speak to people the other side of the pond because of the time difference. But predominantly it was for the backup speeds, because everyone else was in bed. The contention was much better.
Yeah. And it's, again, for backup, it's happening in the background. It should not bother you. It shouldn't deter you to do a backup if it's going at 50K versus the 5 megabits that you have, or the 10 megabits that you have, or whatever. Just let it go. It doesn't bother you. I remember there used to be, and there may still be, a way to tell it, how much do you want me to use? The client asking that. So you tell it, okay, you go ahead and use about that many percent so I can have the rest of it for myself.
Yeah, it's essential you balance it. Otherwise, your upload speed completely ruins whatever you're trying to do for download speed. So you need to have some kind of limitation and balance on it. Otherwise, you just can't serve.
Hey, Andrew, is this Brian?
What?
The Brian that you're talking with?
I'm not talking in the chat room.
Oh.
No, someone has my name.
No. He's talking to you and saying,
I know, someone else is using my name in the chat room.
Interesting.
How dare they take them out the back and beat them?
Yeah. I think he's from the UK also.
Do you want to know?
I think I know who it is, but you could tell me.
It's not me. I only ever use the same username. Honestly, it's not me. Please don't hit me.
I think it's Joe to Max.
Really?
Yeah. That's my theory. I could be wrong. but I don't think I am.
That's a name I've not heard for a while.
I'm curious, do I win the prize?
Is it your birthday this week?
No, I hope
Well, it's
so.
mine. It's mine, so I win the birthday.
You win the
I
birthday prize.
Yes, it's my birthday this week. I'm getting old.
You know what they're doing here? Where you were talking about copper a second ago. They're starting to remove all the copper from the houses, and they're just doing fiber.
Well, copper's in short supply, isn't it? They need to find it from somewhere.
Yeah.
You think about it, how many tons of copper must be laying under the ground that's not eventually going to be used?
Yeah, they're removing. They're coming. I mean, the phone lines now are not copper for Verizon. They're not installing any new copper lines for phones. They're doing all their digital, whatever they call it now. So that's totally changed. Hey Nick,
Hello.
you want to talk about your show? How'd it go this week?
Yeah. No, actually not right now. No, do it at the end.
I want to talk to you about it.
It went very well.
Yeah. You're doing a niche podcast.
I am, yeah.
And who would have thought it works?
Yeah, I don't know. I sure as hell didn't.
How's the community with you?
The community's rough. It's a video game community, so.
So what are the cons with it?
Just the video game people are just they're relentless.
With the game or with the content that you're providing?
With the game. I mean, they're not relentless with us, but it's just like it's this like this game is free. Give us all you promise kind of mentality.
Yeah.
But yeah, the niche works.
You had the developers on your podcast this week.
Yeah, I did. That was interesting.
How'd it go with them?
They didn't prepare themselves, and they look like idiots.
Oh no, why?
Well, they came on to talk about hacking, and then they sent the community manager and a designer. They didn't send anybody that was an actual game developer on. So they, and then I got a lot of flack for promoting it as an event talking about hackers, and then they're like, "Oh, you're just trying to get views. You didn't actually talk about hackers." I was like, "Well, I can only do so much. They don't send an actual designer to the show. There's not a whole lot I can do." That's what I was dealing with.
Andrew.
Yes, sir.
It's not. I don't think it's Joe DeMax. It's somebody from Earthlink.
No, I have no idea. On a side note, guys, I have to run. I have to get ready for brunch.
Okay.
Oh boy.
But people look stupid when they run. Don't do that, Andrew.
I want to look stupid. That's my goal.
Speak to you next time.
Yeah, I'll be in spirit in the chat room with Zarian as taking over for me.
Okay, very good.
All right.
Bye,
Take
guys.
care,
Good
Andrew.
week.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would want to come in with different names.
Leave it alone. Doesn't matter.
They haven't been rude or obnoxious yet, so not so bad. It always could be worse.
Movie buff wants to know what? No NAB talk? You did a great job on the IIB, movie buff. I mean, I follow all the videos. I watched all the videos that you put there. I don't know that anybody here was at NAB to talk about it.
Well, what? You don't have any NAB stuff to talk about?
No, I don't have anything about NAB.
Why?
It's being talked about and talked about.
God, come on.
Why? Do you have something about NAB?
No, I'm not the host. I don't prepare
That's
stories
fair.
for the show.
Nah.
This must be an American thing. What does NAB stand for?
Go ahead, Amnon. Hello, Amnon?
Oh, I was saying earlier there was Samsung that did the 5G. It was Nokia.
Okay, so Steve, it stands for the National Association of Broadcasters. It's the conference that
does.
they do in Las Vegas every year. Yeah.
Thank you. It obviously just goes to show I'm showing my English ignorance because I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, it's a worldwide conference, it's not just a U.S. thing.
Okay. Well, I wasn't invited, otherwise I may have gone.
All right.
You were going to fly to Vegas.
Here is something that I want to understand because I don't know how it works. But I read a story here. Google already provides its mobile user base with an Android device manager in case a device gets lost or stolen. The app allows users to lock out their devices remotely and even erase sensitive data that may be on them in case of emergency. However, in other cases, it may be useful for someone to be able to simply locate the device when it has been misplaced nearby. So Google is introducing a new Find My Phone feature. The new feature isn't found in the ADM app, but rather right inside of Google Search. The company has added a search query prefix, which gives Android users the ability to see where the devices are right on the Google map, or even make them ring. Typing "Find My Phone" in any typical Google search bar will access the new feature while bringing up the aforementioned map and options. Didn't work for me. As Google says in its announcement post for the new search feature, it is more geared toward those times when you've simply misplaced your device nearby, like somewhere in the home, office, or at the car. While the Find My Phone feature does not allow you to lock or erase the device the way ADM does. It is a nice touch to be able to see where your device is at any time and will surely come in handy for some. And they said that it's better than locking it or doing something and then have to go through a rigmarole to enable it again. But I couldn't, I mean, when I type in Find My Phone, I got a bunch of links. What am I missing here?
Are you running the most recent OS?
A what?
Are you running the most recent OS?
Yeah, well, Windows 7.
And that's for your phone.
I'm not
for your computer.
What? No. This is not for your phone. This is for your computer to find the phone.
Oh,
you don't type it in the phone.
No, I understand that. But I'm saying, have you set it up on your phone?
No, but there. See, that's the thing is, I don't. They're saying that this is.
There's nothing to find.
Okay, so you still have
a Google service.
Okay, so you still have to do something on the phone, which is not mentioned in the article.
How is it supposed to know?
I have no idea. I thought it'll come up and ask about the phone number or whatever, and my next thing was, so that means anybody can find me. Anybody can come up and type it in and put the phone number and know where I am. That's not a good thing sometimes.
No, you have to set it up.
Okay. Because when I typed it in, it came up with links to Google Plus and things like that. It's an interesting thing to do, to be able to do that. And at the same time, I saw something also about what's the name? Discover Card has an app that will allow you to freeze credit on a card if you lose your. It was a commercial. If you suddenly realize, oh, I lost my card, I forgot it somewhere, and you can just get on your phone and freeze. So you don't have to call the company and cancel the card. You can freeze it, and then if you find it, you can unfreeze it, if you don't find it, then you can tell them to cancel it, which makes, again, a lot of sense. The technology is getting there, which is nice. So, Nick, did you ever do something like this on your phone?
Do which one?
I mean, something to find it. Obviously, you don't need to do because you're tethered to it, right?
I'm not tethered to it. I don't misplace my phone.
But
no, but that's an Android feature, though. I'm not.
Yes, that's an Android. Oh, your iPhone? No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I've had an iPhone for the past few months.
Oh. Okay. Do the iPhones have a feature like that to find it?
Yeah, it's called Find My iPhone.
And did you ever use it just to see if it?
No. I did not. No reason to.
Yeah.
But it's not really meant for misplacing it in your house. It's meant for leaving it somewhere and trying to find it.
Tim, I have no idea what's on it. I don't know if it's Kit Kat or Lollipop or Jelly Bean. I have no idea. I think it's 3 point something or 4 point something. I'm not sure. It's a Galaxy S3.
Yeah, the OS probably isn't even compatible to do it.
Yeah, I have no idea which one it is. I've got two friends of mine that got a 6 Plus at the same time, and they regret it. They have to walk around with a huge thing on their waist. I mean, it's really, I mean, when you use it, it's nice, but when you don't use it, it seems to me like it's too much of a thing to carry.
Gets in the way.
Yeah.
It's an ideal size if you want to beat somebody over the head with something.
Yeah, Tim, it is because you have the S3. Because you told me to get it. Ice cream sandwich. I don't know. Yeah, that sounds right. 4.4. Some. Pepper spray.
Well, they reckon
All right, Charles.
smell-o-vision's coming soon, don't they? You got these new smell-o-vision in movie theaters where you get sprayed with water and the seats shake and stuff. So it seems to be the next stage forward. It'll happen on your phone soon.
Yeah, do you guys remember the commercial about the? I think it was the iPhone. I can't remember when this kid runs and steals the lady's pocketbook with the phone in it, or steals the phone out of her hand and running, and she said, and she presses something and he blows up because you can blow up the phone. Okay, so Gene says that he's got a 6 Plus and he doesn't regret it. It will fit in my pocket. You have big pockets.
I have a 6 Plus.
It's made for us old guys. Why is that, Gene? Do you think it's too big, Nick?
No. I knew what I was buying before I bought it.
It's interesting that things are growing, and we started with I want smaller, and I want it to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and now I want it again bigger and bigger and bigger. The trend. So AMD has pulled out of the market for high-density servers, reversing a strategy it embarked on 3 years ago with its acquisition of SHOEMAKER. It announced this last Thursday as an announced financial result for the quarter. Its revenue slumped 6% from this time last year to 1.03 billion, and its net loss its net,
Didums.
yeah, its net loss increased to 180 million. AMD paid $334 million to buy SHOEMAKER, which developed a new type of high-density server aimed at large-scale cloud and internet service provider. I wonder why they pulled out.
Well, I want to know how they're going to cope with that little amount of money.
But they should just continue to work with what they're working on. I mean, it's nice. Companies are trying to diversify and to grow, and oh yeah, we can buy that company for $350 million and let's try it, and they drop it, and somebody would probably buy it from them. It's not going to go to waste.
Nick, did you just force open your CD drawer?
No.
I saw you wanted to put your cup somewhere. I thought perhaps you just forced your DVD drive open.
Nope.
Okay.
Phablets. Yeah, Doug, that's it. Phablets. This is, we should have talked about it also when Andrew was here. But Nick, you also may have interest in this. A year and a half after the Electronic Frontier Foundation created a crowdfunded challenge to a patent being used to threaten podcasters, the patent has been invalidated. In late 2013, after small podcasters started getting threat letters from Personal Audio LLC, the EFF filed what's called an inter parts review, or IPR, which allow anyone to challenge a patent at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. The order issued today by the U.S. Patent Office lays to rest the idea that Personal Audio or its founder, Personal Audio is in a company, or its founder, Jim Logan, are owed any money by podcasters because of U.S. patent number blah, 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 which describes a system for disseminating media content representing episodes in a serialized sequence. The article points out, though, that the EFF warns Personal Audio LLC is seeking more patent on podcasting mentioned within Adam Carolla's fight against these patents. So one of those patents has been invalidated. I remember when this hit the news and everybody was getting worried. Do you remember that, Nick?
Yeah, for no reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if that company says that they have a patent on it, there was a good reason to worry.
It didn't look like it didn't look like it was going to go in the right direction. So fortunately, it's now completely gone in the right direction. What gets me though is I know it wasn't going to happen and it wouldn't happen, but if the judge were to say all the people that settled the patent dispute beforehand or before this case, they need to be repaid, that would be awesome.
Right. So that's a good thing.
I would say so.
What else, Nick? So why didn't you want to talk much about the show, your show?
Well, I don't know what there is to talk about.
Can I talk about it?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's the same. It's the same thing every week. I mean, I don't know what you're.
I mean, look, it's not the same thing every week. If it was the same thing every week, then
no. But I don't like. What I'm saying is, I don't understand what you're going to talk about.
Because we're proud of you.
Well, I know, I appreciate that, but I'm saying I don't understand why that's like a topic for the show. That's not really anything.
It's not the topic of the show. It's a bit of information out there.
I think it's the same.
Nick, listen, guys, listen. Nick and Brian Aldridge run a podcast, a show, a very good show about a video game called H1Z1.
Mhm.
And it's a nice game. I'm not into games, and I love watching them doing this. But last week they had the people from the company that authored this game as guests on the show. That by itself is proof that the show is serious.
Yeah, no, it's the only podcast about this game.
Well,
That's
I mean,
enough.
when at the end, when we ended the show, and you were saying let's do that raid,
Mm-hmm.
that other show that we went into, they were also on H1Z1.
I said podcast. The other people play it.
Oh, so they were
It's the
just
only-
playing.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
yeah, it's the only podcast for the show.
Okay. It was very nice. There were a lot of people in the chat. The chat was just scrolling. Information
like-
there was good.
Something like 450 people, 500, something like that.
It was really, really
Wow.
a good show, and I think it gave you also. What did you say, Steve?
I said, really? Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty decent turnout.
It's like Andrew said earlier, if you're doing a niche, anything that's in a niche market and you're getting that good a response, you're getting that sort of level of attention from people in that media, then that's a fantastic thing. That's something you should be screaming about.
right. See, Steve answered the question for me. Why do I want to talk about it? It was really, really nice to see it going that way, and I know that it gave you both also a boost to realize. I mean, it's nice to be acknowledged and appreciated, and people are taking you seriously on this. I mean, it's a game, but people are taking you serious about it, and
Yeah.
that's a good thing. And
Well, it's the authority thing.
okay, it's the authority thing.
There's no other, the success comes with the authority, what people think of it. And
If-
in our case, there's no other show about this game. So it's people watch the show and they take it, they take what we say and they take it, they believe it or whatever.
Well, yeah, they believe it.
But that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, but you are not. The show is facts and experience with the
Yeah, but-
game. It's not
but-
politics about the game.
Yeah, but they still take us as the authority because there's nobody else. If there was 17 other
Right.
shows like there is with every other podcast, it would be the same thing as the On the Radar was. It would just be this crap, same garbage every week.
Right. Well,
They do much with.
they know that the information that is being presented on your show is going to people that care enough to know about it that they come over there to hear what they can. How many people do you think today? And I understand that it's still in beta or even alpha. What is it?
It's an alpha, yeah.
Yeah. How many people around the world are playing it? Do you think? Estimate.
Oh, hold on, I can tell you.
No, estimate. I mean,
No, let's figure this out. Hold on.
because it is not. I mean, people like Nick and Brian are paying for it. Not much, but they're paying for the alpha for the ability to play it, and of course it's testing it at the same time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm thinking that there's probably thousands of people out there who are playing it,
Well, I can tell you right now.
and
So 10:20 a.m. on a Sunday morning, there's 14,000 people
Yeah.
playing right now.
so really, when you think about it, to have 300, 400, 500 people coming to
nothing.
the show is not much
Oh,
when
absolutely
it's the
not. No,
only
nothing.
show. But that's because those other thousands don't really care about all they want to do is just play. They're not serious about it. The people that come to watch your show are people that are serious and they want to learn more about the game. They want to learn from your experience. They want to hear from the people that tried it, and they have ideas that they hope that the company will hear and will hear what they have to say about it. So that's what's nice about it.
But the interesting thing is it's more because the show is so niche, it's not really about it. It was more about the game, but now it seems like it's more about Brian and I's personality towards the game. Like that, it's shifted a lot.
It's like what? It's more like what?
Brian and I's personality. Like we have this personality about the game, and Brian is, Brian's positive about the game. I'm
Right.
negative about the game. We've taken this stance. It's like our personalities are almost more of the show than
No,
the
that's
actual
that's
game
that's like saying that the anchor on the 6 o'clock news is telling you their own. You're going to watch it. They have their own version of the news because of
No, I
his
don't mean this in a
personality.
bad
No,
way. This is a good thing.
it's a
People
very
come
good
to-
thing.
People
And-
come to hear what Brian and I have done the past week, and I mean that's part of the
right.
show.
But it's
Yeah, so I didn't mean it in a bad way.
I would think that if there were two shysters instead of Nick and Brian, people will still come because it is the only one. And they're lucky that it's Brian and Nick that are giving the right information and in a nice way. I mean, it's so clean and so informative. I'm jealous.
Well, I think also so we do it on Twitch,
Right.
and not trying to offend anybody here, but 95% of the stuff on Twitch is garbage. These people are just using the crappiest equipment possible, crappy webcam, crappy microphone, crappy computers. It's garbage. It's all garbage, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, it's just all trash. These people have no clue what they're doing. And Brian and I put on like a semi-decent production, and I think that makes it. I mean, if this show was me with my Microsoft Cinema webcam mic and Brian with his C920 webcam mic, I think it would be totally different. So you get a level of professionalism with it too.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a decent production.
A very decent.
Like you said, like some shysters doing it. That's exactly what it would be.
Yeah.
It would be, two 20-year-old kids doing this, which is fine. There's thousands of more podcasts that are more successful than ours that are just like that, just the webcam and a Google Plus Hangout. And that's just, I don't know. It's what some people like.
It is a very positive thing, and anybody who it's not just a shoot 'em game. It has strategy, cooperation. I mean, it's really nice, and the reason why, and again, Nick was mentioning hackers. I mean, that even I can see that not playing the game, it's a headache because these are people that found ways to go in there and hurt you without you even knowing that they are coming. And normally, I mean, this can destroy your whole strategy because there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And it's a concern. And from what I heard, it's a concern for the company.
Totally.
A lot of people can get discouraged by something like that and say, "Oh, forget it." But it's nice, and it's nice to. And if you follow them, then it lets you know when they go to play. It's not just for the show; it's when they also go and they play, and it's nice.
Yeah, so I'm using the LifeCam Cinema. I think it's either LifeCam Cinema or the LifeCam Studio. It's one or the other. I don't remember which one exactly. I think it's this. I think it's the cinema.
Cinema. Cinnamon?
Yeah, Life Cam Cinnamon.
Gene, you were talking about what causes a device to drop. Before you reinstall or do any of that stuff, if this is something that has to do with USB, just unplug it and plug it back in. On the machine that you're watching now, if you're on JustCast, when I reboot, I lose the external sound cards. And if I don't remember to unplug them and plug them back after the machine reboots, they don't come up. And I have to shut the program down, not the computer, just shut the program down, unplug and plug both of them, and restart the program, and everything is there. So if it's a USB, just unplug it and plug it back in. And that may solve your problem. Why it happens, we don't know. It's Windows gets confused on some of these things. It's two of them that are the same device for two different channels, and it just gets all screwed up, just like it used to do with two Logitech cams on the computer, and it will mess up. So try that first.
Invariably, you'll need to make sure it's plugged into the same USB port as well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it looks
yes.
as a new device.
Right. Yeah, you need to plug it in back the same wherever it was.
That's why I was asking if it's if the default device is a USB device or not, because sometimes Windows will, for some unknown reason, forget which USBs are plugged in where and why and how, and then it'll just throw a wobbly on and expect you to reset everything. It's like I said, it seems to be an annoying feature that raises its head from time to time. Very annoying.
Yup. Oh, I was just shoot. Never mind. Guys, there's not going to be any specials today because Spence is out of town. I forgot to tell you.
I would have done them.
It's all right. Never
How
mind.
am I going to cope without specials?
It's very. I mean, even the specials today are so slow. It's so few. I don't think.
I'll have to find something else to cry about.
It's
I'm
okay.
sure I can find something.
Save your tears for something more important.
Okay.
Which is
Tim,
very important.
I'm not. What am I using? It's a GL1. It's a Canon GL1. It's an actual camcorder. It's not HD. What Nick is using is HD. I like all the cameras that I use in the studios are actually camcorders, older ones that are going to a capture card. They're not USB. So, Gene, let us know if unplugging it and plugging it back in brings it back up.
Yeah, he did say in his original question, unplugging, plugging back in, or even a reboot gets it working again. But it's just one of those quirks that nobody really knows the answer to. It doesn't always happen every time to me either. It's just frustrating that, even generally speaking, it's going to happen when you need it to work because you're running late for something. It's like, oh no, don't do it now. You have to choose this time to do it. Why couldn't you do it when it wasn't bothered whether you needed sound or not?
It's I can reboot until the cows come home. It doesn't do. I have to actually unplug and plug both of them back in.
Mm-hmm.
And then restart the program.
And then restart Wirecast, not the computer, the software that's trying to use them.
And then the neighbors wonder why you're screaming.
Tim, did you get my answer about how it's connected through a capture card? It's actually a CCTV 4-channel capture card. What's a 360 feature on YouTube? Movie buff, you doing too much reading out there. You know all these things that I never heard of.
I did see something about it, but I don't do YouTube and videos and camcorders and that sort of thing.
360-degree
webcams.
YouTube video. Oh, that's an advertisement. That's. Oh, really?
Is it?
I'm looking at that video that he posted. I don't see anything. I mean, it's like panoramic, and
Yeah, you just tap the arrows to scroll 360 degrees. Interesting, very interesting.
But that's not new.
Well, it is for YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. QuickTime used to allow you to do that.
If that's readily available on YouTube and you get a lot more people with 3D cameras, then yeah, that could make some of the videos quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
The only thing I can think of is you just need to make sure your room's tidy.
It's really strange. $360. So what, are you saying you want me to do it here? No way.
I don't know what extra bandwidth it's going to take. Probably 4 times the bandwidth that's needed now.
Yep, it will.
And processor's probably going to need to be double.
But yeah, no, that technology, QuickTime used to allow you to do panoramic image viewing in like the later 90s.
Yeah, but that was doing all the processing and everything on your computer, though, wasn't it?
No, I think it was all on the server.
Was it really? Oh, okay.
It wasn't video, but it was pictures. You could have panoramic pictures. You could take like a tour of a room or something.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
With the panoramic QuickTime.
How we've moved on, eh?
Yeah, exactly. I don't really understand the point of a 3D video.
Well, you keep the
I'm sorry, 360-degree video.
Keep the camera pointed in the one direction perhaps the person's walking, and then you can look around at the scenery, the seaside, whatever it might be, all around them.
I guess, but I think I'd rather see what the person's trying to show me. It just seems like what's going to be happening behind you that you're going to need to show.
True. But panoramas, generally speaking, were for scenery, wasn't it? You can look around from the spot that you're stood.
I guess so.
So it's the next logical step forward. I can see that there could be a very good use for it for people that perhaps in real estate, people that are maybe holiday programs, that kind of thing. Sorry, I'm popping.
No, but that's one the real estate stuff. They have that panoramic images and stuff now, the 3D tours. So that's what I would think.
Yeah, if it's available for free on YouTube, it's got to be good.
Yeah, except the problem is you probably have to use 4 cameras. That's the only disadvantage.
So I've got something here that I printed a couple of weeks ago, but it's timeless. It's about getting a job and interviewing. It says, school may have prepared you to administer a network like a pro, but it may not have taught you how to interview like a pro. And here are some missteps you should watch out for. You've just graduated from college and are about to undertake your first round of interviews for what you hope will be a lifetime career in IT. You've got the grades, the skills, and the knowledge to prove it. But did school prepare you for those interviews? Did they give you enough advice to send you into a meeting room with prospective bosses with the confidence and interview savvy to get a job? If not, let me help to number 1 is coming unprepared. It says, this may sound like a no-brainer, but I'm always surprised at the horror stories I hear of interview candidates showing up completely unprepared without researching the company, dressed in jeans, having had no sleep the night before, not showered. You name it. If you walk in knowing nothing about the company you are interviewing for, you're sunk. If you're not dressed professionally, you're doomed before you take a seat. If you want to undermine the opportunity, stay up all night before the interview playing Halo. Don't think the bags under your eyes will serve as a badge of honor. And I'm sure people do that. Forgetting your resume and letters of recommendation. I would think that at this point you already sent it to them, though. So I don't know where that falls in. Talking as if the English language is yours to destroy. Watch your language. I said, on any given day, I hear the back and forth between millennials, and sometimes I'm amazed that they know what each other is saying. Says, I get it. Every generation abuses the language in different ways, but to come into an interview using your generation's slang and phrases with a group of interviewers who may be old enough to be your parents is a mistake. They may understand you from years of practice with their own kids, but you don't want to further remind them of your youth or that you are the same age as their children. Important. Not practicing your answers. Enough said. Showing your desperation. And that's kind of a hard thing not to do when you've been around and around. It says interviewers are like dogs. They can smell fear and desperation. If you walk into that interview desperate for the job, it'll show. You need to muster the confidence you can. All the confidence you can. Walk
and you
as
get
if
your knees dirty at the same time. It's never a good idea.
Right. There's already an abundance of cocky IT pros out there, and for many, that's a major turnoff. Just know you are right for the job, and it would be a win-win if the company hires you. Being negative, and this is in life, not just for an interview. Being negative. It can manifest itself in many ways. You can say your interviewer asks about your experience in school. Instead of discussing all the positive things you took out of those 4 years in college, you focus on one particularly bad thing. Think about it. Just think positive. Talk about the positive. Leaving your cell phone on. Your phone may be your lifeline to the universe. It may contain every secret mankind desires to fully understand. Doesn't matter. Turn it off. The last thing you need is for that smartphone to be blowing up on your table with encouraging or distracting message. Dude, nailed that interview. Oh my God, Shelly just got busted doing the walk of shame. I mean, different things like that. So yeah, turn it off. Absolutely. Leave it in the car. Not asking questions. Interviewers love to be, and again, it goes back to whether you research the company or not. If you go for an interview, research that company. If you're going to get a job, Nick, you're going for somebody who wants a website. You go and you read about them and you
No, I don't.
try.
I don't. You're right. Nope, wrong.
What?
I just show up and I assume everything.
Right, yeah.
I'm an expert. No research required.
The interviewers will at some point give you the opportunity to ask questions, and you should have questions and you should get them answered. Are there opportunities to rise in the ranks? What's the benefit package like? What is your policy on such and such? That's what they're talking about. Now, here's one. Bringing reinforcements. Don't take your parents, siblings, BFF, boyfriend, girlfriends along with you. Nothing says, I need my hand held like dragging along moral support. And forgetting to pay for parking. If you're in the middle of your interview and you remember that your meter is about to run out, you're sunk. Most likely those holding the interview are busy and aren't going to be able to wait for you to run back to the meter and pump it full of quarters. I mean, that's obviously something doesn't happen a lot, but it's probably for that guy to come up with the 10 reasons he found something. But these are I'm sure a lot of people are doing this. And a lot of people are missing getting good jobs because either they're desperate, discouraged, what have you. You go on an interview, you're going to talk with somebody who is going to help you with your next step in life, whether it's another job or just a contract to do something like building a website. Always be sure of yourself, be respectful. You need to show the other side, the side that's going to write you a check, whether a one-time check or a weekly check, that you're worth their consideration. And there's going to be a lot of people that are interviewing for this that will not have all these traits, and that's when you can come on top. All right.
Oh, that was it. Where did you find that? That was interesting.
I can't remember. I think it was something on Tech Spot.
I thought that, to be honest, when you started playing that, I was like, oh great. That was interesting.
Yep, it's just something, and I'm glad you said that. It proves what I was saying. I mean, and I know because Nick reads about the company. He's trying to find out as much as he can about his new customer who just asked if he can do something for him.
But you know what? That's a struggle for me. You know,
Of course.
Somebody. I mean, I keep going back to this example because it was the most recent one I've done. But I had to build this website for this brick mason. I don't know a damn thing about brick masonry. I don't know anything about concrete. I have no knowledge about that stuff. So, you know, a lot of it was just kind of asking them about stuff because, you know, the guy's been doing the concrete work for 40 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's nice if you can ask them.
And of course, and you should ask them. But before you go there, I know that you were telling me, oh, look, he's got that, he's got that. I mean, I read this about him. What do you think? You know, and just the fact that you get, that you don't take it for granted just going in is very important. And will show them that you care enough about what they're going to do for you, that you spend time researching them. And it's shows an interviewer or a potential boss, whatever, this is a serious person. He didn't just come in to get another interview under his belt. They really want to do this job. And better chance of you getting it if you go that route. That's, you know, it's a nice.
That's what you're doing is you're selling yourself to them to be the best person that they can get for the job.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can be the most qualified person for the job, but if you mess up in the interview or when you talk to the person, you blow it. Because at that point, they're not even interested in knowing what you know. Bruce is asking, what is that map on the wall of? Who's got a map on the wall? I don't know what you're talking about, Bruce. Nick, you don't have a map on the wall, do you?
Oh, a game poster. It looks like a map.
Oh, yeah, you do have a map over there.
Yeah.
So, what else? It's almost time.
Not much.
I got nothing. It's been a quiet week.
Yeah, it has been. Definitely. Nothing kind of nothing going on. It's good. It gives you a lot of time for work.
Well, if there's work to be had.
Just one more thing, Nick. Sorry about your show. It's on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. I mean 7 p.m.
7
Eastern.
Yeah.
7 p.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm. You like that's ever going to happen? 7 a.m.
I'm already up at 7 a.m. on it. I'm up at 5
yeah. That's what you say.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else going on, we can wrap it up.
Okay. Thanks, AMNON. Thanks, Nick. Have a great week, everybody.
You too, Steve. Take it easy.
Always try to do my best at doing that job.
No, it's still working. All right. What is TWC Max?
Cable Max, the internet service plan.
What speed is that supposed to give you?
And on your area, I think it's 100.
It's the first time I hear that word.
Oh, it's not. We've talked about it on the show before. Talked about it plenty of times.
Yeah, I saw the guy with Uverse here on Friday, and I went out there and I asked him, I said, so when are we getting gigapower? And he was saying, this area, it's going to take probably a few months. He said they're already up and down on Jones Franklin, but I don't know when they're going to come in here.
That's promising.
I told him, I said, Time Warner is going to beat you to it. He said, if they're doing it, then we're going to be here right behind them.
Well, I like that mentality, right behind them, not before them. Behind
Right.
them.
Exactly.
Very good mentality. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, that basically sums it up. We're screwed.
Yeah, well, they will.
No.
They will.
We
Okay.
live in a nice area.
Nick, thanks. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I
Nope.
think I'm good.
The what?
Nope, think I'm good.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9. But you can always reach us here at computers2know.com. And while you're at it, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. At 1 o'clock today, it's the Brunch with Gisela. And no Tanya Love show tonight. She's getting married. Remarried.
Excuses.
Talk with you later.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with AMNON Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.